What's up, guys? Justin Morgan here, and this is week 3 that you are currently watching, or training clips from week 3 in the Boris Sheiko powerlifting, Russian powerlifting coach method. And I am using the Sheiko app, which is available at the App Store on your phone if you're an iOS or um, whatever else is out there. And this is it's cut up into different cycles. So this is prep cycle 1, and I'm doing the 4 times a week advanced medium load cycle. And there are 3 prep cycles and then a competition cycle. And the competition cycle is kind of like I think it's 5 weeks long total for the medium one, and it has I think three of those 5 weeks are kind of like a major reduction in volume to allow the lifter to recover prior to a competition, or that's the goal anyways. And so basically this past week was kind of like I'm kind of feeling my way through the whole program again. I had done it once before, but I really wasn't maybe as in tune to what was going on in the program or what was going on from cycle to cycle. But what I'm noticing about this particular prep cycle, or the very first one, is really kind of focusing on certain positions. So if you notice, like a lot of the squats that I do, they pause at where, well, I purposely, it says pause while going down is all that it says, but I purposely try to pause right at the weak spot, or where I'm personally the weakest in the squat, which for me is just a little ways above parallel. So and I think that's generally common for most lifters, as I mentioned in the past video. But it's the same for kind of the deadlift. You know, I'm kind of weak below the knee, so the app calls for, you know, deadlift with pause above or below the knee, and I generally kind of try to follow whatever the app says if it's, you know, like that. But when possible, I try to make sure that any unique things to me, or unique places that I have, are you know, that I try to integrate those in. Now, this particular lift that you're seeing here, that is one that's pretty new to me. I've never done it before. It's called seated good mornings, and it was actually really painful to do. I got smart the next time that I did it. I don't know if I got a video of it or not, but I sit on the very edge of the bench so that when I go over, it's not smashing anything that I'm particularly sensitive about, so that you know, is not having any problems there. But I also trained at school some this week. I was trying to make my lifts so that they go Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, and I just really hate training at school. I don't like the. I mean, the facility's really nice, and I like it when I see people that I'm in class with or something. But I don't like the equipment, and I never really feel like I get a very good training session in. I always feel like I'm far more fatigued than I am from training at home, where there's, you know, very little stress, very little, you know, outside stressors that would cause anything. So I generally just prefer to train at home. Now this is one where I've kind of varied a little bit from what Sheiko recommends. Instead of doing the board press for bench presses, I was doing slingshot bench press, and I actually add a little bit more weight than what Sheiko calls for. But as going back to the session that I had at school, kind of some of the unique things about that particular session was with the benching, Sheiko kind of goes back and forth with kind of a high volume week, and then the next week will kind of be higher in intensity, and it goes in waves that way. And so this particular one, I did 245 pounds was the number that it called for, and it would go like a set of 3, followed by a set of 7, followed by a set of 4, followed by a set of 8, and it just kind of bounces back and forth between high reps and low reps that way. And the low reps are meant to kind of grease the groove and hone the actual technique of bench pressing, whereas the higher repetitions sets are intended to produce, you know, muscular fatigue, so there's a stimulus for growth. And I really like a lot of those aspects. I don't have chains either, so you'll notice that the bench press here is done with bands. I just wrap the band around the bar and put it underneath the bench so that it's lighter at the bottom and then significantly heavier at the top. It does take a little bit of getting used to, and you have to find a good place on the bench so that when the band goes down, it actually goes straight down and it's not pulling you either forward or backwards. Now this session is the last one. It's the Saturday session, which I just did yesterday. It was a bit cold in that back room there. We've had some interesting Ohio temperatures. I like the meme that people have posted where it says, Mother Nature says, you can't have all 4 seasons in one week, and Ohio says, hold my beer. So it's kind of been that way. We went from really warm last weekend to pretty cold this weekend. I think it was maybe around freezing or down below freezing. And then I also didn't feel like combing my hair, so that's why I'm wearing a hat throughout the whole thing. The Sheiko app called for medium grip bench press, and since I generally kind of take more of a medium grip bench press anyways, I went ahead and did floor presses just because I wanted a different variation or something different to do, which I think is the point from my understanding of reading through the app and the different things. Even if you're not following Sheiko, the forum at the Sheiko website actually provides a lot of useful information that I think if you're interested in powerlifting and strength sports and that kind of thing, you might benefit from. Now, one thing that I don't film a lot of is the accessory movements that I do after the main lifts, but I generally do them. Some of these are ones that I just threw in. Like Sheiko called for triceps, and it's up to your discretion, whatever you want to do, which I've not really done a whole lot of tricep isolation work. I've mostly depended on pressing for my to build triceps, but since he throws it in there, I've been doing it more often. And then same with biceps. He doesn't include biceps ever in the Sheiko app. And really, it's probably not something that's going to play a role in powerlifting in any way, so that makes sense that he wouldn't. But I went ahead and I've been trying to do like more actual arm work. So I'm throwing in some bicep curls, and I was actually hurting after that. I only did 3 sets, but since I'm not used to bench pressing at all, or not bench pressing, since I'm not used to doing bicep curls at all, it actually left me a little bit sore. And then the other thing with that I kind of want to find different ways to do is Sheiko calls for hyperextensions and reverse hyperextensions, and some of these things that I just don't have. So I've been doing other accessory movements. I would like to figure out a way to do hyperextensions and do some of these other things, but I just haven't figured out what that's going to be yet. So until I do, I'm just trying to do my best to throw in other aspects of kind of isolation work on similar muscle groups, which may not be ideal, may not be perfect, but it's as close as I'm probably going to get. So with the equipment that I currently have. So you guys take it easy. I think that's it. If you have any other questions or anything you'd like to see me add in, throw it in the comment section below, and I'll talk to you next time.